Hello everybody, welcome to Game Devs Play Games.
Woo! Hey, woo!
And with us today we have a...
Nathan.
We have a Nathan. Also, we have a special guest that we haven't had for quite a long time, and I mean special. Eddie.
Wow, thanks Chris.
Eddie.
How's it going, guys?
I don't need to be in
So
here.
for those who may not know who you are, why don't you explain?
Don't ever call me special.
I'm just kidding. Eddie's not special, he's incredibly normal.
So normal you might forget about him.
Eddie?
Are you going to talk about yourself? God.
Normal to a painful degree. I'm a sound designer by trade, so that's
but
what
not
I'm
just
here
any
for.
sound designer.
I am Chris's personal sound designer.
Oh, dang! All those sound effects in any of my random little games, it's all this guy right here.
Well, mostly you've forgotten to ask me about some projects.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, the problem usually is that I don't forget. I just don't ask you until the absolute last minute.
That's true. You really, yeah.
And then I go, hey, Eddie,
Like that
I
space
know
one?
you're probably busy, but I need some sound effects for this game, and I don't know if you have time.
Hey man, it's
And
11.
even
Are you awake?
yesterday, and your sound effects will be better than mine.
Yes. Anyway.
Well,
But I always appreciate doing Chris's sound design.
this is
And
getting
Nate's, if
weird
you ever
fast. Oh,
So.
yeah.
So we're playing Stasis still. Eddie wasn't here for the earlier part. Oh.
Oh, great. Young British robot voice.
I'll be totally honest. I don't know why there's a British robot voice right now. So, okay, to kind of explain, I've been playing this game on our off time when we're not recording, so that we have less moments where we're just like doping around, not knowing what to do. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's really a reason for the robot voice. Just to be totally honest.
It could have like hijacked the intercom or something, you know.
Yeah,
And maybe you'll find that out later.
Are you saying that the intercom isn't normally a British robot voice? Do you have a problem with British robot voices?
They're
robot voices?
They're my favorite kind. It doesn't really matter if it's a child. But all right.
So, Nathan, you and I have been reading a lot of these PDAs off camera, and I think it's from my playthrough so far, we're at the point where things stop being as important to read.
Really?
Yeah, it turns into a lot of like subplots going on with characters that have died, but you can kind of see what was like going on.
So I see what you mean. It's not important, but at the same time, it's pretty cool.
It's flavorful. So if you want to get a taste of like what life was like on the ship before everything went down, that's kind of your portal to do so.
Okay.
But I've honestly, I think I'm toward the end of the game, and I think I've only read one or two things that have actually given me important information.
Oh. Yep. Oh, Eddie, this game is incredibly gross. This is not.
I noticed. Yes,
This
I
is not
noticed.
the first disgusting thing we swam.
No, earlier you guys, before we started recording, Chris was playing around in a room that was full of pregnant women who were birthing into like weird chambers.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
Oh, you haven't seen that yet.
That was
Earlier,
Eddie's first exposure to this game.
Yes.
Earlier we were swimming through a vat of
Half-formed clones,
half-formed clone DNA juice.
DNA nutritious juice.
Nutritious, yes.
Lovely.
And there were things in it that were also going to eat us.
Yeah, that's why we electrocuted them.
In fact, Chris
It
got
went through-
eaten 4 times.
Yeah, eaten. Yeah.
I like how he has his arms out like,
Hey man, if you were walking through this gross goo, you'd be all like, and wanted to touch as little bit of me as possible.
yeah.
I think honestly the reverb sounds a little bit too much in every room. I think it's a bit much, like a bit too much of decay.
I think that's kind of fair. I mean, maybe the idea is that they're trying to make it feel larger.
Larger and empty. I get that.
That's fair.
So there's a club here. When I first found this, I thought it was a little strange, but I think the idea for this room is that it was like a fun place for the younger people on the ship, because there are kids in the ship, but it also doesn't really seem like a place where you would find kids because there are horrible experiments happening. Why would there be kids running around having a fun time?
That's fair, but they pretty much did stress that everything was kind of like an outside purpose, or outside appearance.
That's true.
You didn't really know what you were getting into when you worked here.
Yeah, I guess that's totally fair. One of the more interesting PDAs in this room is a story of a 17-year-old girl who wants to volunteer for an experiment for ladies that are that have given birth recently, or it's like a fertility test. And she was rejected because she was too young and she had never actually been pregnant. She'd only had an abortion. But I thought that was interesting. Oh, I hope I actually picked up... Okay, I did pick up the... So, I've just kind of been doing stuff, but I picked up a holographic emitter, a lighter, and a pool cue.
I just want to point something out real quick. We're going through sewage right now.
Yeah.
Is that a skeleton to the upper
is a
left
skeleton.
there?
Oh, yes.
Why is that there?
There are dead bodies just about everywhere we can go in this game.
Actually, Nate, there's
yeah.
not just one skeleton over there.
There was a few?
There was
There
a
were.
few down the corner to the
So
left.
here's the question. Either A, those people are incredibly out of place because who decides in their last moments to die in a sewer, or B, they were trying to go get something and failed.
Yeah.
Also could have been thrown
Well,
down there.
the body's there too.
Flushed it down the toilet. Like,
Yes.
don't need this anymore.
Oh, that skeleton? I don't need that.
Worst pet I've ever had.
I mean, I feel like when you're working on these experiments, you go through so many bodies anyway that, you just get to that point where you're like, yep, there's another one.
Well, the second thing that came to mind is the stuff we're going through caustic?
It is, actually.
Good.
I don't know if the dialogue actually happened because I wasn't paying attention, but the girl that we've been talking to, she does actually say, like, hey, you should probably not stay in there too long because that stuff will eat through your suit, but your suit is protecting you right now.
Oh, okay.
So when he fell in and his face got covered.
That was the first thing I thought, and I was like, I feel like we should be dead. So,
See, okay, about the
Let's talk about that.
about the ambience of this entire game, it's lovely. Honestly, for every place we've been so far, it's great and it's nice. Before we started recording, we were sitting in a room for 10 minutes doing literally nothing. We were just listening and we were just talking shit to each other. And about 10 minutes in, there's just this random yell that happened in that room. And I get that that's a frightening thing to have, or a nice thing to have in a horror game because it's frightening and it makes you jump a little bit, but we seem to have waited a long time just to hear a fun little layer to come through like that.
yeah,
I feel
agree.
like that sort of thing is needed in the ambient tracks of a horror game, to have little yells and whispers and things like that come through to scare you a little bit more, but make it happen just a little bit more often, but also not too much more often, otherwise it'll get too repetitive and it won't be enjoyable. It'll just get boring and annoying.
I was gonna say, if you heard that every 5 minutes, what would your response be?
Oh,
I don't know, honestly. I mean, every 5 minutes, not entirely sure what my response would be, but you could have it varying between 3 and 8 minutes.
yeah, I
And
agree.
Have it,
Even Dead Space is a really good example of doing that successfully. Like, they try to emulate a lot of the sound effects that Dead Space did. In that, there's lots of whispers and there's lots of
I don't know what kind of sound engine they might have been using with this. They probably weren't even using a separate sound engine for this. They were probably just using whatever they made it with, the built-in sound system. So they might not have had the best capabilities to make the sound great, but it still sounds good, I think.
Yeah, I think it still sets the scene very well. Also, that was a cat that just died.
Oh.
We also got an achievement for that.
I can't believe that just happened.
So the cat's actually interesting. The cat is one of the good things about reading the PDAs is where we got that cloth, the bed sheet that we used to climb down that hole. Mm-hmm. There's a story about a guy, I think he's a janitor, that sneaks a cat onto the ship, and when shit starts to go down, the cat just disappears, and he starts freaking out and he cries about it and he's like, I miss my cat. And then we see the cat and we're like, holy shit, this is the cat from that story, you're alive, come with me, I want to save you because you're a cat and I love you. And then he dies.
Like immediately.
Immediately, yes.
That's hilarious.
Gotcha.
So, if you notice when we first started talking about sound effects, or the ambience, I was staying in that room for a while and I was trying to point out little arrows on a wall. That is our little hint to what we need to do here.
Okay.
But I decided that I didn't want to wait for you to finish, so I moved on. But I believe it's down, up, left, right, left. And now we drain this stuff.
Oh.
Nope.
Nope.
Maybe it's right, left, right. Bam!
Skadoosh.
The only reason I wanted to point it out was actually because art-wise, in that scene, it's one of the things that really, really stands out. And so it actually becomes hard to not notice it.
Cool.
And it looks like something that you would want to interact with, but you can't because it's on a ledge above you. So design-wise, I actually thought that was pretty clever. The other benefit is that it's not very far away, so if we really wanted to, we could just, run back there and look at it and then run back in these pipes.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, that is pretty nice.
I do want to say that I do enjoy the sound design of this game entirely. Just the only two things that bug me are just like a little bit too much reverb. It can be tightened just a little bit, but then again, that might also just be the capability of what they were working with. And the ambience can be just a little bit tighter and a little bit better randomization instead of every 10 minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I do think
otherwise,
they
it all
have good
sounds great.
variety for a lot of the ambient sounds.
The sounds that occur every 10 minutes randomly in the ambience, they sound great. That's for sure. Creepy as hell. I love it. But
So anyway, this is the end of the episode. This one went by quick.
yeah, it did.
It's been 3 months since all this happened.
Well, that's
It's been 3 months.
It's been 3.
This is a
I
long
know.
episode.
I know, right?
It's been 3 million years.
Psychological effects of space travel.
All right, bye, Eddie.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.
And if this ends up being terrible audio quality, Eddie, I'm blaming you.
But it won't.